Okay, good morning. I am so pleased to be here today and just want to congratulate the Florida Distance Learning Consortium, especially Robin and David and Heather for all your work. You did a great job communicating with speakers ahead of time and bringing us together on a topic that I think really will raise the level of engagement between faculty and students and their learning materials. I am honored to be part of this panel of speakers today and really look forward to learning about the other institutional and state models that are represented on the program. But my job in this segment is to talk about the Colorado Community College system and what we've been doing with digital books over the last few years. And I just want to preface my remarks by saying that when we started our program in 2006, there really weren't very many models out there to look at. There was University of Phoenix. They had a flat fee for ebooks for their courses, so we looked at them. But a lot of this we sort of made up as we went along. And we were very fortunate to work with publishers who at that time were also willing to experiment and look at new delivery models and new business models. Our long-term goals remain the same as they were in 2006. Primarily, we were looking to improve instructional quality by providing rich, interactive learning materials as part of the students' e-learning experience. Most of our courses around that time in 2006 were heavily text-based, and so we were really looking to build more engagement and interactivity into the courses. Also, at the same time, providing a significant cost savings to students. Those were the two overriding goals of our ebook project. We were also looking to improve upon existing ebook models. When we first started, the ebooks that we were presented with from publishers were primarily a PDF of what an existing textbook looked like. And so that was a goal also, to really sort of push the field ahead in terms of ebooks. We were focused on lower cost commercial solutions, and that's primarily where we still are. Although we have used OER content, we have some faculty who are really excited about it, and it is one of our institutional priorities, but I would say for the most part, what we've been doing with ebooks has been focused on publisher content. We knew that we were going to make some mistakes along the way, so we wanted to evaluate student and faculty satisfaction with their experiences with ebooks so that we could improve upon what we were doing. And we're into our 19th semester now of using ebooks, and I think each semester we discover something that we could do a little bit better, and it has improved a lot over the years. We wanted to test new business models within our community college system and with the publishers by attaching a fee, a student fee to students' tuition bill that covered the cost of all of their learning materials. And then we were also looking for a solution to the problem of addition control and revision cycles. Now that we do have digital content, we decide when we want to move to a new edition of a book and the course revision that comes along with that, instead of being at the mercy of publishers as to when we move to a new edition. And that has actually saved a lot of staff time. Policy issues have definitely been drivers for change in terms of supporting our ebook initiative. Going all the way back to 2005 when the GAO study came out that found the cost of textbooks for community college students were about 72% of average tuition and fees. I think we're hearing a lot of student voices of discontent about the cost of textbooks, And a couple of years later, we even had legislation which ultimately passed that required institutions to be more open and more transparent about the cost of textbooks. So while there was no direct policy mandate to do what we did with ebooks, I think the policy context in which we were working certainly made it easier for us to move forward with an initiative that some thought was pretty radical at the time. Our governance structure has been primarily through the CCCS System Office and its consortium for online delivery, which is called CCC Online. If you're not familiar with CCC Online, it is a consortium of the 13 independently accredited community colleges in our system for e-learning course delivery. Students enroll through their home college for a CCC Online course, but the content is delivered centrally through the consortium. The faculty who work for the consortium are employed by the consortium. They're not employed by their individual colleges. Our textbook selection, our faculty are independent thinkers, but they are not independent decision makers when it comes to choosing a textbook. We have textbooks, the textbook selection process involves usually a program chair and a group of lead faculty who teach that course. But all sections of a given course are using the same textbook once that decision is made. Also involved in the governance structure are campus business officers who had to sort of come together and agree that we would use this business model with the fee structure. And then finally, our board, State Board for Community Colleges, is involved because we have to get board approval every year for courses that carry the fee. Any student fee in our system has to have board approval. We can only do this once a year, so we have to really plan ahead, and any course that we think has even a remote chance of going digital, we put it on the list so that if we do decide to move to an ebook, then it's in the list of approved courses. So basically, on this slide is in a nutshell how it works. And really, this is not an oversimplification of the model. The business model is pretty simple. Students are assessed a materials charge of $52 on their tuition bill when they register for a course in the ebook program, regardless of the course or the subject area or the publisher that's being used. The publisher delivers the content to CCC Online for integration into the learning management system. We use Desire to Learn. In some cases, the content sits in another platform or learning management system, and our instructional designers have to figure out a way to get the students from our learning management system to where the content resides and get grades back into the gradebook of our own learning management system. Students access the ebook and the content, including all the ancillary materials and publisher websites that go with that content when they log into their online course. Students may print any portion of the ebook that they wish to, and this has been, as Diane mentioned, the ability to print has been an important feature for students that we've discovered over the years through feedback and surveys, student surveys. And so we've made that part of our agreements with publishers, that students are able to print whatever they wish. Also, following on that, students are able to purchase a low-cost version of the book, a print version from the bookstore. That is an optional purchase, but again, based on feedback that we've received from students who really wanted to have a printed option and didn't want to print the entire book out on their inkjet printer. So it's a black and white, loose leaf bound book that's available in the bookstore, usually for under $50. And about 30% of our students choose that option. And then CCC Online pays the publisher based on enrollment at census date. And an important point to raise here is that there's not an opt-out option for students. When we first started, there were students who were really upset about this, that it wasn't a choice. They might come and say, well, I can get my book cheaper on Amazon or somewhere else, and I don't want to pay the digital book fee. But the digital content is there. There's no way to pull it out for one student and have it not available in the course. So the fee is assessed if the student's enrolled in the course at census date. The optional piece is the print option. They're able to purchase that. But even with the combined cost of the ebook fee and the printed book is running around $100, which in a lot of cases is less than what students would pay for a regular textbook. On content development, there was a question posed to all the speakers about whether we had external funds to start our initiative, and the answer is no, we did not have external funds, but we started very small with 3 courses in 2006 and working with 3 different publishers. We have, one of the things that we've done in an effort to sort of broaden the choice and availability of content is worked with InRock. Are you familiar with InRock, the National Repository for Online Courses? And it is one of the OER projects that's been funded by a number of organizations and foundations. It is subscription-based, so if you want an institutional membership to be able to access the content and directly incorporate it into your courses, you purchase a membership. And we do have several courses that are running entirely with InRock content, and there are no other required books. In these courses, the students may be referred to other OER resources, but there is no required textbook in the courses that are using InRock material. So primarily, the way we went about the acquisition or choice of content is when we started, we tried to match the ebook availability, what was available from publishers, with where there was the most faculty interest among our program chairs and our lead faculty. Administrative issues and challenges, we've had a lot of them over the years. And I think primarily, I have this one first on the list because working with the publishers to define the new delivery models has really been a learning process. And making sure that the publisher really understands how we work as an organization. And I can't emphasize that enough because in the consortial model, it works very differently, and the e-book model within the consortium model really changed the way that we went about textbook selection. So we couldn't have individual book reps calling on our faculty and our program chairs in the way they used to do that. Because we had set up this process for textbook acquisition on ebooks where when a course was going digital, we would bring together the team of faculty who would make that selection and the publishers who wanted to present content for that course so that faculty would be able to choose from among 3 different publishers. At the time, we were working with Pearson, McGraw-Hill, and Wiley. Our goal really was to create a level playing field for publishers and also for faculty to be able to choose the best content, to choose the content that worked best for their course. And this has been, the process of textbook adoption in this model has been a learning process. I'm going to pick on Pearson just a little bit. And it's out of respect because ultimately Pearson really understood and now gets our model. But when this first started, we still had reps contacting our faculty. And on our side, our faculty had relationships with book reps that they had developed over the years. And many of our faculty in the consortium also teach at our land-based colleges. And so there were, so there were these scattered communications going on. And we had book sales reps calling us saying, "You're messing with my territory." And we had bookstores calling us saying, "You're messing with my territory." So it was a messy process, sort of trying to move into this more consolidated adoption process for ebooks. It has gotten a lot better, and it's running much more smoothly now. But that was one of our challenges. Understanding what to ask for. And this has been refined over the years. At first, just really deciding what the deliverable was going to be was a challenge. The business model has had to be refined primarily internally because we have to apply a fee code within Banner to all of the courses that will be in the ebook, be using an ebook, and that fee has to be charged by all of the colleges, 13 colleges throughout our system for these courses. And then information has to get incorporated into schedules so that students understand when they're signing up for a course that it's carrying an ebook fee and they don't have to buy a textbook at the bookstore unless they choose to buy the optional print book. Single sign-on has just been a challenge from the very beginning, and we're getting closer to a solution on that, but the whole issue of access codes has been a real challenge. Printing and hard copy options, I've already mentioned. Student support. This was, I think we knew this, but it sort of occurred to us that with regular textbooks, you don't have to have technical support. With ebooks, you do. And the publishers have been really good about, for their premium websites where students go with the access codes, there are support systems in place, but we also wanted to make sure that our own technical support desks could respond to some of the student questions about the fee and so forth. So we wrote knowledge-based articles for our support desk. We had to create a video. This was several years ago, but with the whole access code issue to help students get through that 12-step process of registering their access code. Communication is really critical to success. I don't think that can be overemphasized. This is a list of all the parties involved in our ebook program. With publishers, there are usually more than one person. And so it's important to have those communication links set up. These are big companies with multiple groups and multiple editorial staffs and technology platforms. And so we've been very fortunate with Pearson especially. They've assigned a team to work with us on our ebook models. And like I mentioned earlier, that whole understanding of how the system works is important, that publishers are able to interact with our team appropriately. Our own project team internally, our team of instructional designers, faculty, bookstores, students, and college business officers all have to be in the loop. I'm really happy that we're able to share some of the lessons that we've learned in working with publishers, and that, if for that matter, any kind of content provider. Communication, I've already mentioned, that's just sort of inherent in everything that we do. Lead time is a lesson learned. We've tried to get ahead of the curve in planning out appropriate development schedules so that we're not under fire, under pressure, trying to launch. We've had a few cases where we've had a course that was supposed to go with an ebook and it just wasn't ready. There were accessibility issues, or the content just wasn't wasn't right, didn't meet the QA. And so we've had to roll back, go to the previous course shell, and then refund the student fees, and then have to scramble around to find the books for that course, and it's kind of a mess. So that's been an important lesson learned, is just that development cycle for us. Don't assume publishers have final QA on ebooks. I think in some cases, some of the ebooks were not ready for prime time, and we didn't find out until later when it was already live. I think that could be because we were an early adopter of ebooks, and I think some of these processes with publishers are beginning to run more smoothly, but you have to check everything. Confirm that all the links work, that the access codes work, and so forth. Internal communication issues within the publishers, I already mentioned that. Early on, we had an issue with compatibility with Macs. That is not so much a problem now. Now the mobile devices, of course, are an issue. The iPad, we've had an issue with Flash, of course, and now there's an app, though, for the iPad for most of our books. Accessibility, I would say, is probably now one of our biggest challenges. We're very fortunate that our lead instructional designer is an expert in this area, and she goes to all the conferences on accessibility and really understands what needs to be there for our ebooks. And I think some of the publishers really just dread working with Donna, because if it is not just right, she will send it back, and the course will not go live until those things are up to the standard. Faculty and student reactions. As soon as I wrote this bullet point, I realized that I need to qualify that. Our faculty are almost 100% online. We do have 5 full-time associate deans, and we also have 10 part-time program chairs they are not adjunct, they're part-time permanent instructors, and then about 400 adjunct faculty. But our instructional model has always been standardized to some degree. We operate on a master course model. So the ebook really hasn't met with much resistance among faculty. It's still a standardized adoption process. It just works a little bit differently. And faculty, what we hear is they are finding a great deal of pedagogical value with the integration of digital materials in the courses. And they find that it helps reinforce concepts and appeals to different learning styles for students. Interestingly, faculty still want a hard copy for themselves. They want to hang on to that desk copy. So we've, of course, supported that. And our student surveys have indicated a growing acceptance of the model as well. We log every student complaint over the years, and when you look back at them, they're getting a lot fewer now. I don't think it's such a surprise to students now when they sign up for a course and it has a textbook fee and an ebook. Most of their positive responses have been around the economic value of the ebook, and then again, as I mentioned, about 30% of them we know through our bookstores are choosing the print option, the optional print book. These are some comments that we've heard from students. I just use these as examples. I'm not going to read them to you. I think you all are getting copies of this presentation, and you can read them at your leisure, but it's really fun to look at what some of the students say, how much they enjoy being able to save the physical space, the economic value. One student talked about being in the military and how it was so convenient. A lot of times we hear this: I didn't think I would like it at first, but as I became more comfortable with it, I really enjoyed the convenience of the online textbook. this person talked about the cost value for her as a single mother. Way to go, Green. Really happy with the experience, and allowed her to purchase additional items for her children starting school because of the money she saved on the ebook. This is a really important point, the last one here. Students who are on financial aid receive, it's sort of like an electronic voucher where we're able to purchase, or they're able to purchase their books. But a lot of times when we were using print books, this would take a long time. And so the course might be 2 weeks in or 3 weeks in before students got their materials. So with the digital model, it's there immediately the first time they log into their course. And of course, we have received negative comments. Some students don't like it at all. And like I said, we're seeing less and less of these, but I think to be fair, you have to listen to the legitimate complaints that students have. And really it comes down to the choice issue for students, that they have to pay that fee, that just for some students, they don't like not having the choice to get their books somewhere else. And then the really ugly comments. Some students are just very unhappy, and this student, I think, needs to take a developmental English class, but did not have a good experience at all. So for faculty recognition, promotion, and tenure, for us, this is not a major issue as a community college, and especially CCC Online, which operates almost entirely through adjuncts. But I think our early adopter faculty have been very pleased with the recognition that they've received by really being on the forefront of ebook adoption, not only within our system, but nationally. Some of them have presented at conferences nationally, and it's been a great professional development and leadership opportunity for them. It is not part of our formal faculty review process, and in fact, because we have so many courses now operating with the ebook model, it's just part of our mainstream process, and it's become an expectation of teaching online. So moving forward, we are currently offering around 100 courses. We have 28 more scheduled to go live in 2012. And again, after I put this bullet point up here, I realized I need to correct that. We're currently serving this semester 13,000 enrollments. That's not students. That comes to about 9,000 students. And that per year, so we have 3 semesters a year, so that comes out to, we're serving about 25,000 students per year under the ebook model. This only represents about 1/3 of our courses, so clearly we've gone for the high enrollment courses first, but our goal is ultimately to get all, or almost all of our courses. Some of them will never be able to convert to digital because we have some courses that you just use very specialized books. But the goal is to get almost all of our courses into the ebook model. It's been a significant savings for students, them being able to rely on the fact if they sign up for a CCC Online course, they know it's going to carry that $52 fee, and that's all they have to pay in terms of planning their expenses for their education. Our faculty have been really pleased with the increased array of content choices provided by publishers and different formats available. And I would say for moving ahead, our priority will be to expand the choice of content providers, including OER. We have not made that a priority up until now, and I'm hoping we'll be able to do that. There are a lot of faculty who are interested in trying open textbooks. We have to figure out a way to incorporate that into our model. So that's all I have. Thank you.